My name is Seth Lipsky. I'm editor of The Sun. Mr. Mayor, Your Honor, thank you for taking time from your heroic work and incredible tasks to be with us on this occasion. That all of you are here means more to us than you might guess. And I'd like to spend just 5 minutes to share with you how we got here and tell you a bit about the man of the hour, David Effune, our publisher who put together the company that now owns The Sun. I can't remember a day of my life when I did not intend to launch a daily newspaper in New York. When the time came, I struck a deal with one of the great newspapers in the history of movable type, the Jewish Daily Forward, and eventually with partners to bring the paper out in English. The partners became divided, partly over the question of whether to go daily. So my partners and I sold our interest, and I set about finding another paper. Almost immediately, my phone rang, and it turned out to be a legendary editor, Gershon Jacobson, of a Yiddish paper called the Allgemeine Journal. He invited me to lunch, and in his deserted newsroom, he asked me, "What were you thinking going from the Wall Street Journal to a socialist newspaper?" "You should have come to the Allgemeiner. It believes everything you believe." I told him I was determined to launch The Sun, and it was soon up and running, backed by a heroic group of investors. But in the face of the 2008 financial collapse, backing for the print edition pulled back, and I bought what was left of The Sun, its trademarks, its website, and proceeded to launch the website that many of you have read for the past 13 years. No sooner had that begun than I received another call from the Allgemeiner, only this time it was from a young man named David Effune. He had just taken on the project of doing with the Allgemeiner what I had done with The Sun, with the Forward, and he wanted to meet. I didn't know what to make of him, but we had a drink every 6 months for the next 13 years. And during that time, he built a terrific publication of the Allgemeiner, and I nursed The Sun, keeping alive its editorial vision. And then at one of our regular drinks, David asked me whether I would consider selling The Sun. I'd just turned 75. I told him that in recent weeks I had received 2 offers, but that if he wanted to make another, I'd be happy to look at it. It arrived shortly by email. Amity, the hero of our family, and I were sitting in the kitchen when David's offer hit my phone. I read it. It was a short letter. Handed the phone to Amity, a very shrewd newspaper woman in her own right, and she read it and looked at me, and she said, "Now that is a thoughtful offer." So I gave David a mandate to try to raise the capital, and he and his fabulous business partner, Dan Rosen, persevered, and here we are today. I hope you all get to know David and Dan Rosen, as well as the wonderful team they brought with them, including Caroline, our chief content officer, and Ben Friedman, who carries the immortal title of Chief Revenue Officer, John Seeley, our legendary news editor, John Bennett, the Telegraph editor, and our famed foreign correspondent, Benny Abney, and the many other young and not so young reporters here. When I say not so young, Don Kirk is here. I met him in Vietnam in 1971, and he's been covering Korea since 1972. Your Honor, Mr. Mayor, may I just say that The Sun will be following with intense interest the great quest on which you've set out. I don't mind saying, we wish you success. It is a feature of the World Wide Web that it has lowered the barriers of entry for newspapers aspiring to cover our whole country and world. New York, though, will always remain at the heart of our beat. We launched our print edition in the wake of 9/11, and we relaunched today at a time of great challenges. We will be rooting for you ardently for all your success. And I will just say, here we are. It reminds me of the great story about the Jewish refugee from Russia carrying his violin up Fifth Avenue, sees a little old lady, says to her, "Madam, do you know how I can get to Carnegie Hall?" And she says, "Practice, practice." So with that, Your Honor, welcome. We're very happy to have you with us.